Every decade has its greats, and the 2010s have gifted us with some of the best races the sport has ever seen. The racing has been formidable and exciting at every turn, and for that reason Cycling Weekly has decided to pull together this list of its favourite racers throughout the last decade. Having emerged in the early 2010s as one of Marianne Voss's major rivals, Lizzie Deignan gradually worked her way up to the very top of the sport, winning successive World Cups and a World's Road title in 2015. Although her decade peaked the following spring when she swept up virtually all the major classics adorned in the rainbow jersey, Deignan merits considerable praise for the way she returned to the top level following the birth of her first child in 2018. Few at the start of the decade would have predicted that Alejandro Valverde, who at the time was embroiled in a doping scandal that would see him banned until 2012, would not only still be plying his trade 10 years later at the age of 39, but remain as one of the very best in the world. That scandal cast a shadow over the rest of his career, but in racing terms he has been a model of consistency, winning 2 Liège-Bastogne-Liège titles, a record-breaking 4 successive editions of Flèche Wallonne, the World Championships in 2018, as well as sealing 6 more Grand Tour podiums. The defining moment of Annemiek van Vleuten's decade might have been the horrible crash she suffered at the 2016 Rio Olympics. However, the Dutch woman showed remarkable resolve to come back stronger than ever, and has won the Giro Rosa twice, multiple classics, and 2 World Time Trial titles, capped off with a truly spectacular long-range victory at the Yorkshire World's Road Race this year. Already a sprinting legend going into the decade, Mark Cavendish solidified his status by claiming a career-first green jersey and World's Road Race title. His form dipped in subsequent years as Marcel Kittel became the new sprinting sheriff, but the Manx missile bounced back with a vengeance in 2016, storming his way to 4 more Tour stages to bring himself within just 4 of Eddy Merckx's all-time record. Though complications resulting from the Epstein-Barr virus might look set to keep that record out of reach, we ought to be careful not to underrate Cavendish's extraordinary achievements. 10 years ago, Fabian Cancellara had already firmly established himself as one of the greatest time trialists of all time. However, it was only when he won the rare Tour of Flanders Paris-Roubaix double in 2010 that he also demonstrated what he was capable of in the classics. 2 more Tours of Flanders and 1 more Paris-Roubaix would follow, plus a host of other semi-classics, as Spartacus became the decade's master of the cobblestones. His career ended with one last hurrah for Olympic gold medal in the time trial at Rio in 2016. No other rider in the world was as consistently successful from the very beginning to the very end of the decade as Vincenzo Nibali. In fact, he's achieved either a Grand Tour overall victory or monument win in 7 of the last 10 years. It's also the fact that so much of his success was on home roads, like the Giro d'Italia, Milan-San Remo and Il-Lombardia, and that when he does ride, he does it with such style and panache. There's barely a race that Anna van der Breggen hasn't won in this decade. Her peerless climbing has made her a dominant force in stage races and winner of 2 Rosa Giro editions. She's reigned supreme in the Ardennes Classics since the introduction of a women's Amstel Gold and Liège-Bastogne-Liège in 2017, and she boasts a range of many other major classics on her palmarès, most notably the Tour of Flanders, Strade Bianche and La Course. 2 victories above all stand out. The jaw-droppingly one-sided 2018 World Championships in Innsbruck, which she won for a long-range solo attack with a huge margin of nearly 4 minutes, and her crowning achievement, the Olympics road race in 2016. In January 2010, a 19-year-old made his World Tour debut at the Tour Down Under, making an immediate impression with a couple of top 5 finishes. Thus began his stratospheric rise to stardom. Soon followed the first of over 100 professional wins this decade at Paris-Nice. Then, a couple of years later, the first of a record-breaking 7 green jersey victories at the Tour de France, and in 2015, the first of a record-breaking run of 3 successive World Championships road titles. Most decades have one standout rider who dominates at the Tour de France. In the 2010s, that rider was Chris Froome, who rode his way to within just one yellow jersey of the prestigious 5-time Winners' Club. Supported by the formidable unit of Team Sky, Froome appeared virtually invincible every July, physically capable of mastering whatever challenges the organisers threw his way, and exercising a mental ruthlessness that you wouldn't have guessed from his calm, polite manner off the bike. The addition of Vuelta and Giro victory saw him complete the full set of Grand Tours, making him comfortably the best male stage racer of the last 10 years. Marianne Vos was already established as a bona fide superstar at just 22 years old 10 years ago. The Dutch woman enjoyed a period of dominance that no other road cyclist besides maybe Eddy Merckx has ever achieved, winning an astonishing total of 112 wins in the years between 2010 and 2015 alone. Those wins didn't come in just any races either, but the very biggest the sport has to offer. 1 Olympics and 2 World's Goals, 3 Giro Rosas, multiple major classics and the inaugural Women's Tour and La Course. Last year she enjoyed her best season since 2015, hinting that yet more majestic moments might be in store come the new decade. So there you go, that's Cycling Weekly's list of the top 10 riders of the last decade. If there are any riders that you'd have liked to have seen on the list, then please let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Cycling Weekly YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.